Alright guys, so here's one. We are going to do Civil3D 2026. Now, full disclosure, I have deployed this and it's already on my machine, but I'm going to show you kind of how I start to get it. So first things first, everybody knows the Autodesk site, manage.autodesk.com. Go here. Whenever I get an app, I don't mess with customizing it here. I just go and download. This gets me like the clean download. I can add whatever I want to it afterwards through other scripts or modifications, but that gets you your installer, right? So you're going to go get that. We're going to launch this. It's going to unzip, and that's going to get us our install files. So we're going to go create our installer, and we're going to give this a second. Just to kind of spin up, and we'll unzip the contents of this fun package. So this might take a little bit to to unzip. Hopefully not. You never know with Autodesk. So we're gonna let this run. See, it started to make its own folder. I like to use the clean web downloads for all my installs, just making sure there's nothing that can take away from it just running clean. So you'll see me do this and not custom installs. I know some people want to make packages with a bunch of apps together. I mean, you can. You can also just create each one individually and create like a chain, like a dependency. Like I require AutoCAD on everything. Oh, and well, AutoCAD is like a requirement for Revit, or Revit's a requirement for CAD, and if it installs CAD 26, it's going to install Revit 26. Vice versa. You can do a lot with the dependencies and stuff to kind of pull down other apps into your chain, so you can just build your own package. But yeah, I like to just get a clean web download and use this. So I know Autodesk has been doing more with the Access and making installs from there, but I still feel like this gives me a little bit more control. So we're going to let this finish. We're almost there. Almost there. All right, we're almost at 100%. Come on, Autodesk. All right, so now we got our unzipped install. So we're going to close this, and we're just going to open folder. So we're going to go to our input Autodesk folder. You see, I already got a PowerShell script we're going to use, but we got our whole thing here. We're going to drag this into our folder, and I'm going to rename this because the spaces, all this extra stuff isn't needed. You're welcome to keep it if you want to. I like to take spaces out just to make sure folder structure, everything's straightforward. So we will take the name of this folder, go back to our PowerShell script, and pretty sure it's the same thing, but just in case, yep. So make sure the path to our setup.exe is right there. So with any of the main apps, it's just a -Q for a quiet install. But you have to run it as, if you're running from PowerShell, you have to run it as command line. So that's this line here. That'll go through and run the command. So we have our PowerShell, we have our starter. So we're going to package it up. So go to PowerShell, transfer to our Intune folder, call our Intune packager, input Autodesk. Our file name is Civil3D2026 Install.ps1, and our output folder, just say no for specifying catalog. Now this is usually like a 3 or 4 gig thing. Again, I've already deployed this, I already got this installed, but I wanted to make this video just to show packaging it up and kind of what we target. So we're going to go back over to Intune. And go to our apps, Civil. So you can see we've deployed. Got to rename it. I hate when these get named differently. Now Civil is not a application we require for everybody, but someone needs it because they're doing a lot of landscape stuff. They can come in and run the install from company portal. But we're going to look at the properties here. So you can see we don't have our dependencies. We have it available for all users, but we're going to look at some of what we call. So first, here's our install script, right? So we're calling PowerShell. We're saying to basically just bypassing security, run this. No uninstall command. We don't want our users uninstalling it, but you can come back and add that later. Usually that's the reason we do this, and then we go back and add it later. Because sometimes we also like to make our own PowerShell script that we'll put in the package for uninstall. It's a whole nother story, but we put that in there. Got our requirements, and then here's our detection rule. So you see AutoCAD and Civil all live in the AutoCAD folder. So for us, we do the filer folder, so the C3D folder that's made under the AutoCAD folder, and just that it exists. That's our detection. So that's kind of where we leave it. So that's all we look for. We'll save that, and that's really it. Like I said, you'll upload your file. You're gonna see this will package up. It's gonna take a few minutes. We'll wait just to see the size of the package. Once it kind of packages up. So if I'm not mistaken, Civil is usually like 4 gigs in size or so. So you can let that run. But that's really all there is to it. Civil's a interesting one. The other thing I'll say, just like AutoCAD, and because it's basically AutoCAD but like added profiles for AutoCAD, you do have to set permissions on the AutoCAD like 2026 folder for users sometimes to have read write just to that folder. For whatever reason, some of the config files in there need user read write access. And I don't know why that's not like a user profile file. Hopefully that's something Autodesk fixes in future releases. Um, but for whatever reason, there is a config file in there that they need read write access to, at least for the initial opening. There's ways around it with like scripting and stuff, but we found it easier and more helpful to our users who from getting errors from stuff that we go ahead and do that. So something to keep in mind. You may have to give some user permissions to that AutoCAD 2026 folder. Especially if you start to see errors, but we're gonna let this package up. Um, Hopefully it doesn't take too much longer. I will say the time it takes to package very much depends on the content and some of the speed and memory of your computer. So if you're working on a slower, older computer, it could take time. If you have one with a lot of memory, it could take less time. It just really depends on what it is. Like our Revit ones are pretty large, so they can be a bear. But Alright, so this should hopefully start speeding up soon as we get towards kind of the end of the packaging, but as you can see, it's a lot of files, so it does take time. I also have a few other things running on the machine at the moment, so I'm sure it doesn't like me. Usually around 60 to 70 it starts to speed up, but we'll see if that's the case. Getting closer. It's taking a little bit longer than usual. Usually not this long, but still in about 15-20 minutes you have your deployment package, and you have no longer need to have to individually install this. So that's one of the things I love about Intune is I put it up there and they can just browse through company portal and run their installs, and I don't have to go to their desks and run installs. I don't have to remote in, but there you go. So we'll take a look at our file. Oh, this was bigger than I thought. So this one's actually almost 10 gigs. Again, this is the latest download, so that's about 9.5 gig file. You put that up and you're off to the races. So that would explain why it took that long. That's about how long some of our Revit packages take. So hope this was informative and everyone happy in tuning. Again, if these videos are useful or if you have ideas for other videos, please drop them in the comments. Love to make some more content. Let me know what you're looking for. Let me know if there's any walkthroughs you'd like to see or any applications you'd like to see deployments of. Thanks.